Yes, so I welcome all of you today in today's webinar. And I request Professor Narayan sir to start with today's webinar. And I welcome all the guests who are in today's webinar.
Thank you very much, Shwamshita. I welcome our old friend and Professor Ravi Medankarji. He is a chairman and president of the International Buddhist Mission, and also he remained professor of history for a longer period here. So I welcome him, and I am waiting for Professor Y.D. Prasad. Uh, and then I welcome all the viewers, our viewers of uh, YouTube and Facebook. So, because they are the our strength, the viewers of the YouTube and the Facebooks, our strength, because they get interested after seeing our program and then they respond to also. So, with the viewers, I have a request that if you have any question, you can just send it to our coordinator, Swam Shitaji, and then at the end of the program, we will answer your questions. So, with these words, I would like to say that today's webinar is on uh, Nalanda, the ancient university Nalanda, and the new education policy. And we have two speakers. One is Professor Y.D. Prasad, and the other is Professor Rajiv Ji. So I hope that Professor Y.D. Prasad will join us shortly. So, in the meantime, Nalanda is the ancient university, rather the first university of the world, and that has made a great impact on the civilization, not only on Indian civilization and culture, but also on this Asian civilization and culture, and on thereby on the global culture. So that is of great importance for us, especially when UNESCO is celebrating this year as the dedicated for ancient education system and ancient educational institutions. During that period, it became very essential to talk about the uh, Nalanda University. Though I am not a historian, but I keep interest on this subject as you know that I am as an anthropologist. We have a holistic perspective of the view which concerns human being, and education is one of them, which concerns the each human being. Everybody wants to be educated, but it depends how much one gets educated. But when the Nalanda University, the ancient Nalanda University was established, and the scholars who were coming to that Nalanda University, if you visit today Nalanda, the reminiscence of the university, with that one can imagine that how huge it was and how good it was during those days. And for connecting that university with the current period, the government of India has started another center of learning there, that is also known as the New Nalanda University. That is also established very close to that of the reminiscence of the ancient Nalanda University. And I have done work on Rajgir long back, sometime in 1966 or so. And that book is published also by the title Rajgir, the historical and the cultural perspectives, that was published by the Concept publication. There I have discussed in detail all the sacred centers of the Buddhist importance, of the Hindu importance, of the Sikh importance, of the Islam importance, all those centers which were there. Though there were no center of Islam, but one kund that was dedicated for, that was shaving of the hairs for Mundan ceremony, that was known as Mundan Kund, that has been given to the for the Islam religion, and that is known as the Kund, Islam Kund. So it is very much there. Close to that is called that Shikha Kund. That is also there. So all those things are there. But I had an opportunity to meet with Fuji Guruji, who was in 1966, who visited that place, and he went to that hill, Rajgir hill, and that even today there is, you will find a center that is for the world peace. That is the Center for World Peace that was established those days. That was started by Fuji Guruji, and today that's a full-fledged one. There is a lift also. One can go by lift from Rajgir to that up to that place. I think the our chairman of International Buddhist Mission must have gone to that place and must have used that lift system for reaching to that top of the
mm,
Giriraj Hill, that is called the Giriraj Hills. So that is there from the Buddhist point of view. And in ancient time, the uh, Jarasandh, there was a fight between Jarasandh and the other king, and that place is also known as, that place is also very close to between Rajgir and Nalanda. So now that place has developed. The Jains are also there, but Jains do
mm,
not have any kund. But Jains have
mm,
good number of temple. The both the sects, the Hinian and Mahayan sect, both sects have their own center in Rajgir, and both of them are there. I remember in 1966, I'm forgetting the name of that saint who started a prarthana there till he dies, till his death. And he left all his food, even water, and he was just sitting, and people from different places were coming to have his darshan and to touch his feet. Later on, people were not allowed to touch his feet, but they were all having the darshan. And I remember, though that's 1966, but even today I remember that after 21 days, he left for heavenly abode without taking any water, any food. He remained alive for 21 days. So that is a called the Jain. They have called the Mahayan in Jain. That's the most sacred uh, thing which a follower of the Jain religion performs that. So, but these things have linkages with the ancient University of Nalanda, because these are the uh, poles of change, educational change, and educational contribution. Their contribution, though directly they are not teaching, not giving any certificate or degree or diploma, but they are just using in transforming the knowledge from the text to the people, because now writing of a text is a different thing, and popularizing the text to common man is another very important thing, because if you write a text and that remains in library, it has got no value. But what Tulsidas wrote as a Ramayana, he that is so popular, because why that became popular, because that was written in the people's language. So the people's language, that was adopted by the people, and even today's rarely you will find a person who does not know about Ramayana and Tulsidas. So is the case with the Nalanda, ancient Nalanda University. You talk to any person, they will say yes, yes, that was the first university of the world, and that was so many things they will say about the university, whether he is illiterate. He has not gone to any school or any university, but he will definitely say, if you ask anybody in the old district of Patna or Gaya, you will find people, they will say about that, or you talk to any student of Delhi University or any other university, they will definitely mention about it. I have traveled to different countries, and whenever I said Nalanda, they all identified that it was he is talking about the Nalanda University. So that was the greatness of that Nalanda University. Today we have thousands and thousands of universities. So probably we have in India we have about 2,000 universities. But but nobody knows about the university except few university. Nobody knows about the name of the other universities. So it's but those days that university was known. That was not known because they have a huge area and they have a huge building, but that was known because they have a very great and tall teachers. When I say tall, it means in terms of knowledge, that they have such a huge knowledge of the culture and civilization, not only of India but of the abroad also, of different countries also, that Nalanda University became very popular. And even today, when we talk of the modern education system, what we find the new education system, the new education policy, we find that the reference of Nalanda is there, but the good thoughts which were inculcated by the Nalanda ancient Nalanda University is absent in that. Say, for example, the first thing is teachers students relationship. In the ancient Nalanda University, the teachers students relationship was not that of the formal one, it was the informal one. Anytime a student were free to ask any question, to get any query, and the teachers were also ready to serve them. And they were not only from India but from the different parts of the globe. And the library of the Nalanda University was so rich that it took so many months and years to destroy that. Khilji tried to, Muslim ruler of that period, Khilji tried to spoil that library, but he could not succeed. He could not burn the whole library. Many of the books and the handwritten manuscripts were
mm,
taken to Tibet and to other countries by those scholars who were studying at that time, or by those teachers who were studying at that time in Nalanda University. And such a great teacher, that they all were of the world famed. Those days there was no television, no computer, no mobile phone, no train. But the ancient in Nalanda University was very popular in so many countries, not only in Asia but in the globe. That is all because they were known. They all were, the scholars were such an alumni and such a knowledgeable person that their knowledge of the subject were uh, acknowledged by the people living in the different parts of the globe. And those texts which were written by them were translated in Sanskrit, first of all, and then in Tibet, then in German, and then in English. But
mm,
even today, when we go through those translated scripts of in English or in Sanskrit, we find if you have a little knowledge of Buddhism or the Prakrit, then you will find that there are some gaps, because the person who has started, who has translated, has not even visited Nalanda. They were asked to translate because somehow or other the books were taken out from the library and they were given the responsibility of translating it. But that was because those periods were dominated by Buddhism. Ashoka was there, and so many scholars were appointed only for the translation in Tibet. But those translations, because the person who translated, they had the knowledge of Tibetan language, but they were not the masters of Sanskrit or the master of Prakrit, in which the books or the manuscripts were written those days. So it is the responsibility of a person uh, like Medankarji, the chairman or the president of the International Buddhist Mission, that at least five of those books, which are of great importance to the world and to the people of the world, that should be properly translated and printed. It will be a great contribution of the Buddhist International Buddhist Mission under the Rajiv ji, because Rajiv Medankar ji, because he is not only the chairman and the president of the Buddhist International Buddhist Mission, but he also remained professor of history. So this will be a great contribution to the subject and to the university. And I will talk to the vice chancellor of that university, to the present Nalanda University, to extend some facility to you whenever you visit, or when you first you select those books, or and then you think get at least one get translated in proper by a proper scholar who knows Prakrit and who knows Sanskrit, who knows Hindi and all that, then it can be done. And at least five such books on ethics and education are translated. That will be a great contribution to the store of knowledge for the globe, for the coming future. And then that will help in the revival, the renaissance of the knowledge of the ancient Nalanda School of Thought, because that is now absent, and that requires a person like Medankarji, who has a great followers and following of all kind of trade and education. So he can do it because he has such people with him. And then I think that this can be a good exercise for that, apart from the other works. And so gradually people will come to support it. The second thing is that the curriculum which has been drafted, that is uh, that is not. I think that that lacks, or there is no connectivity between the ancient knowledge system of the ancient Nalanda University and the modern education system. There is some gap. I think so. It appears to me, maybe that my what I am thinking, maybe because I am more biased with the Nalanda School of Thought, maybe, but this is the reality, because we had such uh, a scholarly teacher those days in Nalanda, that whatsoever he wrote, that was translated in those times, the very popular languages which were prevalent on those days. That must be included, especially when we are celebrating the 75 years of the independence of the country. Then we should also try to give linkages with our ancient education system. And the first education system was that of the Nalanda, ancient Nalanda University. So I will also, with this program, I will also appeal to the vice chancellor of the Nalanda University, if he she is watching the program, because today I requested her to be with her, but she is traveling abroad. She said that if these such programs are organized at the end of September, then she may be possible. possibly she may be able to attend it. So these are the two things which I just wanted to share with you. Then then it reflects the cohesiveness of Indian culture and philosophy, which had a strong influence on the world. So that influence which we had on the world at one point of time, we should also think that what kind of education we should impart. Because as a chairman of the International Buddhist Mission, you have a mission. You have a mission to spread the Buddhism, spread the knowledge of Buddhism. And Lord Buddha himself went to that university, saw the university, stayed in that university for a week or so, and he has taught to these students of those days, and he has been much impressed with that university. And from there, he went to Vaishali, the oldest
Hmm.
seat of democracy. So that Buddha and Buddhism and ancient history of Nalanda is very much associated. We cannot make a watertight compartment that no, this is Buddhism, this is not. So we have to take into that all those into considerations. Then there is another that ancient Nalanda University was undisputed center of learning, center of education, center of knowledge. At these days, currently, we do not have any such center, any such university, whether it is Oxford or Washington or Delhi or any other university, which is not disputed for some reason or other reason. So at those days, this why this university was undisputed and why the people living on the globe were agreeing and were following that university and they were having the education system in their own country on the line of the uh, Nalanda University, ancient Nalanda University. It is a subject which concerns us, and we, those who have some proud of Indian education system, ancient education system, must give a thought of it and must do something for it. And you are the right person because you are chairperson of the Buddhist Mission, International Buddhist Mission, and you have widely connected with the people in the different parts of the globe. So you can have a separate, say, wing of your mission uh, that, and you can uh, give the responsibility, give the task of writing books or how to do it. You can go for establishing an
Hmm.
university like this because maybe that of the Buddhism, but gradually you can make it interlinked with the system of the ancient Nalanda University. That will do. That will be perfect, good thing, and I think that the scholars at the global level will welcome it. And if you like, we can have an first of all, the first stage will be that we can have a international, say, dialogue on ancient Nalanda University in
Hmm.
Nalanda or in Gir. And from there, so many things will come up, so many scholars will come, so many Buddhists and the academicians will come, and then so many things we can filter up. That yes, these are the things on which we can work on this priority, and these are the things on which we can do at the secondary level, then tertiary level that we can decide. So that we can do here. Oh, I think here it will be better because the Nalanda University is ancient Nalanda University is here, which most of the people must be those who have not visited that they would like to have it. Otherwise, anywhere you organize, we are we are there to support you. So, what is I have taken much time. Now, I will request you, and I will request to the person who is watching our program to advise the government on this new education policy, I will request him that the new education policy must be linked with the knowledge of the ancient Nalanda University. Only then the new education policy will be able to make India again as a Vishwa Guru. That's what which the government desires right now.
Mhm.
Otherwise, without giving linkages to that, to become Vishwa Guru will not be will be
Mhm.
very difficult one. So, with these words, I will close my address here itself and will request the international chairman of Buddhist Mission, Professor Ravi Mendakarji, to come out with his own views and place his idea.
Namaskar. My views are similar to you. There is no any controversy in your views and my views. They are similar. But Nalanda is itself, the name Nalanda itself says Nadang Dadat, that is given, the seat of the knowledge, that is the transliteration of the Nalanda, that is the seat of the knowledge. So, no, as you described, that not only Indian scholars, but the scholars from all over the world, they visited there, from China, Wensong, Fahian, and so that actually China played a great role through the Silk Route. So Silk Route was very important for us to taking the silk from India to China, and from China through the Ural mountain, it used to go to the Europe. So China plays also a great role, not only for the development of Buddhism, but also for the development of Indian business. That was the silk business was very popular. You must have heard that India used to make a silk, a whole sari that is of the 5 meters used to come under one ring, and that was being used to give the presentation to the Queen in the England, and that was the route where which was there. So that is the Silk Route. And now this where there is a fighting, that Bamiyan and all these places where that Buddha's great statue has been destroyed. So those things were all on the Silk Route of the China. It was taking also China's from the India. So that played a very important role, being in the middle of that. And Nalanda, because it was a very important center that time, so the people from all over the world used to come and study. And as you know, that you must have heard that even their guard at the gate were so learned that a scholar wants to enter to the Nalanda University, first they have to interview with the guards.
Mhm.
And if the guard approve you that his knowledge is okay to enter in the university, then he was entered in the university. But if the guard rejects you, you are not able to visit inside the university. So that was the knowledge of, so how was it is a scholarly place to enter. And there was, as you explained, the teacher and the student's relation was deeply related. And during the excavation, you must have find that there is in one square of the room, there is one place for the teacher and one place for the student in the same place. So that was, and as you told that all the time they were given the time, anytime they were allowed the teacher to discuss. Not like that nowadays you have this. So discussion was very important, and anytime the question comes in the mind, so now the listeners who are now watching us there, they must have also many, many questions. So they can ask later on. So this is very important. And I'm happy that Nalanda is so famous now. There is a three important universities, and the two vice chancellors are very important. They are doing a lot of work. So you can have a new Nalanda University also, that is why the central government has done. That is another, the old one you were discussing, that is Navnalanda Mahavihar. that is also under the central government of education, Ministry of Education. Hmm. So, but there also has a very nice research center, and they have also collection. As you told, there should be a translation job. There is original Tibetan works are also there. If you visit the library, you will find there is a section where those manuscripts has been kept. Though some chapters has been translated, and still we need a lot of translation work, explanation. As you have rightly observed, the translation was done with the not proper knowledge of the Sanskrit. Yes, it is right, because Sanskrit is not very easy language. Just by knowing the sita, to, tita, anti, sita, tha, like that, it is not Sanskrit. You have to go to the deeper grammar, and then when you translate, this translation itself, it will be different. Because I am seeing that one Japanese book is translated by two different scholars have different view. So the meaning of the main translation gets different. And in the modern time also, we say that when there is a translation work is done, or when the writer has given a book, then it is telling that in the 20th century we consider the moment that the author has given the book, he has he is dead in the sense that he has no any relation with that book, because now it is up to us how to translate it and give our opinion. Same like the moment a mother gives the birth of a child, now how the child will development, it is the phenomena of the society. So same type when the author gives the birth to a book, so what he wrote is okay. Then becomes a criticism, neo-criticism. So we say that why he wrote this book, what was this function, why he was compelled to do that one. What will be this meaning? So meaning will also differ. So long time translated things will get a so new explanation. So translation is very important, retranslating. Now for the history, as you told, we have also that to transform the history, rewriting the history. Now it is in India we are getting this one, rewriting the Indian history, because the history had forced to read some of the chapters which is not actually true. So historian that time they wrote according to their view. So now we need to rewrite the history from the modern time of view. So there is a history is a development committee has been done, and they are doing also Nalanda has one part there. So they are doing good work for the explanation of the history. So under that expansion, again, this transliteration jobs comes out, and we will love to have some translation, retranslate the things, because with the scholars who there are plenty of scholars, they are not getting the chance to rewrite that one. So I think with your help, Dr. Narayan's help, and other I mean the associations, they can help the scholars to get involved in the translations of these volumes of the Tibetans. There also there is a Tanjore and Kanjur. You must have studied that one. So there, I mean, even in Buddhism, not only Buddhism, because the Indian different culture is spread in the world. The last year I was in the Gorakhpur. That was also by ICHR, the Indian Council of Historical Research. They had a international meeting on that spread of Indian culture in other countries of the world. So I was also invited as a chief guest there with the cooperation of my teacher, Dr. Maheswaran. He has also written on Southeast Asia 30 books altogether. So he is also a great scholar like that, and you know him maybe. So there are many things to be done in Southeast Asia. Also, we have the not only that we had many cultural exploration in America is also indebted to the India, but also in Australia. Now we are doing one work, that is in the influence, the impact of Buddhism on the writer of the 20th century. Because after the Second World War, there are many writers. They wrote about that cultural conflicts, and in this century, the Buddhism is getting a growth in America. There are many scholars. They have written on the Buddhism. Not only they write, but they also adopted the Buddhism, like Gary Snyder, Ellen Ginsberg, D.T. Suzuki. There are a number of scholars. They adopted Buddhism also. So when you go now, many Christ, I'm not criticizing the Christianity, but the Christians, they had adopted now as a faith Buddhism. So this is a new trend in America. When you go to America, I will find, and they have registered as a faith Buddhism in their. If you go to the local this offices of the America. So they there you will find in their faith, because with the names earlier there the Christianity they have. But the Buddhism itself in America is different, because at one place of Buddhism you find all different kind of the Buddhist sects. For example, here in Japan we have different sects like Shingonshu, and then Tendaishu. Hmm. There are many sects are here. So in America, it what happened? Also the Jain meditations. So all kind of that, and Dalai Lama's that Vajrayana. So everything you will find in every center. So that is a unique development. I mean, we have divided the Buddhism in chapter, Theravada, Mahayana. But in America, I found a very nice trend, because at one center you are getting Theravada, Mahayana, Vajrayana, all yanas at one place. So that is the actually real Buddhist practices which we find in American Buddhism. So it is a great contribution of many scholars. So translation also, the work for of the D.T. Suzuki on the Buddhism has done in many chapters, and he has written 40 books only on the Jain, like Jain Buddhism. And Jain was also nothing like that. What was the dhyana from the India? So that Bodhidhamma was a Buddhist monk from South India. He comes to China and he taught about this technique to the Chinese. And from the China, it come to Japan, which came the Jain. So that become the dhyana was first become Chang, which in the Chinese language, dhyana become Chang. And Chang become to Japan when it come, then the change, it become the Jain. So there are many transliteration works and translation works are important. And I hope in coming time, with the help of Dr. Sahai and other great scholars, we can have a new version, new definition, new horizontal definitions of the Buddhism. And as you know, Nalanda, you have explained already there. And Nalanda was a seat for when you are describing this Fuji Guruji. Just near his temple, there is a place. This is a vulture peak. So the peak is same like the vulture, and where the Buddha sat and give this practicing and teaching of the Mahayana, which you find in the Sanskrit book, that is Saddhamma Pundika Sutra. So that is the also importance of the Rasgir, which is very near to the Nalanda. So like that, we have many. This education new, we are coming on that point. So this is okay, but there are many points. It is just, in my view, it is old wine in new bottle. There are something changed. It is little change, which is this is, but almost things are the similar. There are few steps has been taken good, but almost things have been same, and they have just tried to nomenclature, giving the new nomenclatures, but almost things are the same. But as a whole, it is a good step. for the development, because the earlier some points were not there, like they're starting the education from the 3 years, because when we were a child also our education started from the fifth year. So those things are okay. And also that some universities, they told that 4 years this graduation course they avoided. So there is a mixture of these I mean the opinion, because there cannot be opinions should be same. Then there is some political issues on the opinion, so we should not go on that contradiction and confliction. But as a whole, this is a good system of education, and I hope in the coming time that they have given a time bound at 2030. So by that time it will come in full fledged action. And one step I found very good, that is to allow the foreign universities, not to all the foreign universities, but top 15 universities, and maybe in future some 100 universities coming in India, or those university where the Indian students wanted to go there and study. So if they get that study in their own hometown, then it will be very easier for them to that standard of education in their own hometown. So and other things are okay. So as a whole, that education system, it provides a good step. So let's see, because change is important. Buddha also said in that one thing cannot be at the same. So every moment is changing. So the education policy is also changing. So we have to accept change. You have to accept. We cannot say that change should not take place. So change will take place, and then I think there will be a lot of things to be given by our Dr. Prasad, who is a great scholar of history. So, with these words, I will stop here, and I will love to have some of the questions from your side, so that I would love to answer you in a different way. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor. Dr. Prashad is not coming, that's what he has informed, because
Oh.
of certain other issues which he is, has to address, and it's early morning when he got up, he got something to. So
Oh,
he
I'm really sorry. I was looking forward to meet him after a
I
long
will,
time.
I
Yeah.
will try, I will definitely try that both of you should come in
Yes,
one
yes.
program. I will try maybe sometime next week. So, Shyam Sudha, is there any question by the viewers?
No, there are no questions by the viewers.
No question has come by the viewers. Okay.
Really. Okay, okay. So that is a,
Okay,
because
okay.
on the Nalanda, even it is a, there is a, always every year in Nalanda, Nav Nalanda Mahabihar, there is
Hmm.
a discussion on the Nagarjun and all that.
Yes.
So so they are doing good. And in the new university, I also attended last year. There is they also doing dharma and dhamma, because always there is people is conflict with the dharma and dhamma. The
Brahma.
dharma is that dharati dhamma, so which we are taking adopting, that is the, but dhamma is the teaching of the Buddha, which is differently. So it is very nice platform to discuss about the dhamma and dharmas in their that very I mean prominent director is there. She is now vice chancellor, Sunena
Hmm.
Singh ji. And
Hmm.
Dr. Sunena Singh ji is doing a hard work and a very fruitful, she is giving this platform, and a number of scholars from not only India, from Taiwan, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, I found a number of countries that people come and they enjoy that, and very nice arrangement. Done. So like that, things should be done not only once in a year, but maybe 3 months after 3 months after 3 months. So, but also it depends on how much the finance also comes, like economic
Hmm.
condition of the universities and all these things. But scholars are there to present a lot of papers, and so in coming days, the Nalanda will get again bigger glories, and I think so. And with
There
your
is one
cooperation,
question. There is one question which I can see on the screen.
yes.
That is how to imbibe the ancient Nalanda School of Thought vis-a-vis current education process.
Hmm. Current education process, as I told you, that is even in current education process, there is nothing have given a stress, as you also told that like that ancient the system, because there is a lack of the most important is the lack of teachers, because one university there is not sufficient teachers. If you go to the number of students in present Nalanda University, whichever the new one, the old one, or the modern, any, there is the limitation of the teachers are there. So you cannot imagine what was the Nalanda that time, and you give that same style of, because lack of teacher, lack of facilities, these all will, I mean, in my idea, maybe you can make do some magic like that. All of a sudden, thousands teachers are coming and they have started teaching one student, two student, even one teacher, two student. That will be enough. But I don't think so. Because even the, I mean, it is not the criticism of the government or anything that they lack, because somehow or other there is a lack of teachers, not only now but even in the long time. When we were teacher also, there were many students and we were two three teachers at university. There were some many universities in many colleges, there were sanctioned posts but there were no teacher. So this is that that lacking has not still has not gone, and I think till this number of teachers not growing, and that what you want to get that fruit cannot be. So that
Really
his
to get
question is very nice, but the only thing is that those systems which were in Nalanda that time or other university, not only Nalanda, if you go to Takshila, you go to Bhagalpur's Bikramshila University, so there is a number of centers. I mean, Nalanda was okay, that was the number one, as you told. But there were other universities, many. Udantpuri was also there, another university. So they were all university of the different trades and different scholars, and the number of students and number of teachers proportion was different. So it is not possible in this situation to get the similar. Thank you, sir. Nice
okay.
question. I also have the same question in my mind.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. There is another question. What can be done for realizing the dream of reinventing the old Nalanda?
That people should come with the donations, people should come with their scholarly, not only financial donation, but scholarly donations. They should give their services to the university, and they teach. Even the retired people, they have some time, or the young scholars, they have time. They should contribute their time and get the students more knowledge from them, because number of teachers is lacking. So that is the very first which I observed as a teacher and as a scholar. So there should be more facility for the teacher, and that can be make again the establishment of that Nalanda.
Thank you very much. But in addition to number, I would like to add that knowledgeable teachers, knowledgeable
Yeah,
of
teachers mean knowledgeable teachers. We teacher means knowledgeable. Teach,
that
yes.
art means
As I
what we
told you,
see.
sir, Nalanda teacher, that guard, even the guard were so a scholar. So you can teacher means not. Yes,
Yes, so that
yes,
must
yes.
because these days we
Thank you
find
for
that.
your point, sir.
So thank you very much for coming to our program, and hope in future also we will
I
get
see another question. Every civilization develop its own pattern to
to
carry
carry
forward the
its
eternal
eternal
value. Hmm. How to
how to
develop
develop.
in students. I mean, different cultures, the different aspects, so that you can give good answers, Dr. Suraj. So,
No, this
Dr.
is
Sahai, try. Yeah, that will be good because, hmm,
every civilization develop its own pattern to carry forward to attain eternal values. Yes, correct. It's correct that eternal values are developed by the
hmm,
civilization and culture. So that needs to be inculcated not only by
hmm,
the Nalanda model but also by the new education policy. Emphasis should be given on the qualitative education, not on the quantitative education. And
yes.
the there's it needs a complete change in educational system. Only then you can change the intuition of the students and the value of the education, value of the life, value of civilization. So all these needs to be education needs to be taken up in terms of totality, holistic perspective of a country or of a
Hmm,
culture, not as in one of the input for getting employment. So this
hmm, hmm,
oriented education should be changed to cultural development or human development. So the holistic development of human being. Only
hmm,
then such values can be imbibed. Otherwise, with the current ongoing education system, it is not possible. Because there is no
hmm,
time. Each time the students are supposed to prepare for an examination. One is over, then another is there. So semester
hmm,
system
hmm,
is there. If one semester system is over, then this is over. So they do not get time to thought to inculcate themselves with the subject which they are studying. So that is necessary.
hmm,
That we should have. But when it will happen, it's very difficult to say at the moment. But one can
hmm,
try
hmm.
for it. That's
So now we have a different civilization. So we have to develop our own strategy and make it better than the previous civilizations. So
yes.
that and that we need all people's contribution, their cooperation. So it is not just only one the government can do. We will have also to take active part to
Yes.
make a better future.
It needs the holistic social approach. It's not that
So the
only
holy,
we cannot depend
yes.
only on government. You have very rightly said that it should be the not only the donation of money but donation of knowledge is also necessary.
Yes, that in my sense may be different because the people have different opinion.
Mm, that's true. So thank you very much. Now there is another question. Nalanda is the cradle of Indian culture and civilization. How to make out students know all about our glorious ancient past in the technological era.
Hmm. No,
Hmm.
in Nalanda, technology was also developed. We had the developed that you go to the Nagarjun, they give that also the theory of zero, Sunyavad. So technology were also in Nalanda in itself. If we go to the library on that, you will find technology was well developed in Nalanda that time itself. Hmm. It was a cradle of not only the Indian culture and civilization. It was center of all kind of knowledge, history, archaeology, and also the planetarium, the science of every geography, every kind of the subject were taught there. And theory of Nagarjun is also the Mahayans that scholar is a well versed and well known in all over the world. When you say Nagarjun, and then we have also in south side Nagarjun Konda, Nagarjun. So those there are many scholars. The Nalanda produced a number of scholars. For those to study separate individual about those scholars, we need a lot of time to discuss. So that
Yes.
is being done by Nalanda Nalanda Mahavihar. Every year they have a discussion on that. Hmm. So Nalanda talks, they give a talks on that one. So that's a very important. So yeah, this is a good question, but it is difficult at this situation because the country has political situation also. That's one party wants to do good, then another party will also criticize, and those things. I think it is we can do with our. I mean, as I proposed, with our own distribution, contribution, those things we can get it again. We can revive it, but we will have to totally dedicate ourselves and with a motto and with a promise that we will develop it, not just on the pen and paper like that.
Mm.
We will have to do in action.
Yes, that is required. So we should have a
Hmm.
action plan. We should go for an action plan for that. Okay, it's nice.
Anybody have
Conclusion.
some more questions? Because we love the question because very nice, and then it is very good. Hmm.
We will forward you the questions, more questions when it comes.
Yes,
And for
later on also we can
also,
discuss, and
uh,
this kind of discussion at least you keep at least once in a month so the people should come forward with the different ideas, and at least this will be our great contribution for the society by this also.
we are doing it twice a month on different
Yes.
issues. We are taking it up. It's
Hmm.
twice a month. Now for next month it is the first one is on 7th, 11th of September. That is 75th year of India, and on
Yes.
18th we have 100 years of India.
Hmm. Hmm.
17, take a stock. We are taking stock
Hmm.
of what has been done, what is left, and in next we are discussing in 100 years of India that what it should be, what is the vision. So
Hmm. Hmm.
for that, some few scientists are there, people from all
Hmm.
walk of life are there. So that we will be discussing on that. Likewise, we schedule and then we also try to accommodate the recommendations of the people who come and who give their own suggestions. Then
Hmm.
whatsoever we discussed here now, whatsoever we say, that is shared with the government concerned ministry. So we
Hmm.
share
Hmm.
it with concerned ministry, and whatsoever their queries are,
Hmm.
we the society interacts with the concerned ministry. So that is
Hmm.
the work which we are doing for last 4 years. We are that is the fruitful thing. That is the most important thing. The
Hmm.
contribution of society of the
Hmm. Hmm.
webinar which we are suggesting to government. So that is most some of our suggestions, or you can say the most of our suggestions have been
Hmm.
taken by the government, and they accommodated it in their policy, and they change also because we are we are giving the ground reality. We are
Hmm.
not giving the bookish knowledge only, but we are giving
Yes.
the ground reality. So, like on the tribal development, women development, child development, all those things which we are doing for last
Hmm.
4 years. That is
Hmm.
one thing.
Hmm.
Economic empowerment, economic participation of the women in the policy or in the development process.
Hmm. Hmm.
Which are there in the panchayat, and all those we are discussing. Whatsoever is we consider current and important, that we take it. If you have any suggestions, you are most welcome to give suggestions to us. We will
I
try
see
to.
one question. Buddhism talks about following middle path, how to practice in education. Now,
Yes,
education is itself a huge word. Which education? The most important is our family education is education. So this middle way of living, what the Buddha says, because Buddhism not say it is a religion, because it is say a way of living. So
yes.
you have to impart this from very your own house, that how to do your way of living on the middle way. So that is the home is the first education center, as the mother is the first teacher. This is already defined and we practice that our mother is the first. So first educations that center should be your own house, where you can impart the Buddha's middle way of learning. So that I think you should start from your own house, this one, and then your own society, then your neighbors, then so blah blah blah, then it can grow. So this is very important because many people accept Buddhism as religion, but the Buddha's that Dhamma, it is very much concerned with the middle way of, because Buddha also realized that the way he was doing without food, without this, but ultimately he found that whatever the knowledge he gains, if there is no body, he cannot speak, he cannot explain the knowledge to the people. So he took a middle way. So that is very important to have, because if I am talking but my body is not there, I cannot talk. So we need energy also. So Buddha has also realized that he lived in near the Gaya, you know, so that on the mountain he is without food for a long period. But he, after getting the kheer from Sujata, he realized that he has to maintain the body. And also then he gives a teaching of the Lyret's teaching that bina ke tar ko itna adhik vi mat kaso ki wo toot jaye. So that a lyret should not be given so much tight that it breaks, or it should not leave like a loose that there no sound comes out. So the same theory is the main practical theory in the Buddhism is the middle way of the life. And that you that very first thing is that you have to start from your own home. So, and home is the first school, and where the mother is the first teacher. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much once again. I give you sincere thanks on behalf of Society for Empowerment and on my personal behalf, and hope in future we will also get your cooperation in some upcoming
Thank
discussions.
you, everybody. So, any question, always welcome. So, please write to Dr. Narayan, and I will get your questions, and I will send you answers as much as practicable. Yes.
Okay.
So, thank
Thank
you,
you.
everybody.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Ms. Siddha, for making this program for us. Give us a platform for this good. Thank you.